So, when you open up an AI app on your phone, what do you actually see? Right? It's just this incredibly minimalist interface, a little glowing cursor. It feels like pure magic. We are constantly sold this high-gloss illusion of a clean, disembodied intelligence that just kind of floats out there in the digital ether. But in this explainer, we are investigating the heavy, physical reality hiding right behind your screen. Because the truth, this technology is incredibly heavy.
I mean, think about it. We've all totally bought into the cloud. It's a term that was literally engineered to make us feel like all of this is weightless, clean, and infinite. But let's look at the reality here. The cloud is actually a massive, heavy, industrial machine. Researchers literally call it the planetary mine. Why? Because it's built from blasted rocks, pumped lithium brine, and crude oil. It relies on this sprawling, resource-intensive infrastructure that is extracting a devastating toll on the physical world.
And as these models just keep getting bigger and bigger, the costs aren't only financial. The real question we have to ask ourselves is, as generative AI scales, who is silently paying the price of progress? Today, we are investigating a triple crisis that is being quietly triggered by this technology. We're talking about power grid failure, localized water wars, and a terrifying new era of digital colonialism.
Chapter 1. The Coming Energy Crisis and Power Grid Saturation.
50 to 70 gigawatt hours. Just let that number sit with you for a second. This is the estimated electricity required just to train a single frontier model, like GPT-4. But okay, I know that's a pretty abstract metric, so let's translate that into human terms.
At 50 to 70 gigawatt hours, that is literally equivalent to the annual residential electricity use of over 460,000 people in Sub-Saharan Africa. The physical energy used to simply teach one single AI model to predict the next word in a sentence, it could power a massive city for an entire year.
But here's the thing, training the model, that's just phase one. Look at this much larger number, 945 terawatt hours. This right here is the projected global electricity consumption of data centers by the year 2030, and it is being driven almost entirely by the relentless, non-stop scaling of AI.
To put that staggering demand into perspective, if data centers were their own country, they would rank 6th globally for electricity consumption. No joke. And this extreme demand is already breaking power grids. Over in Ireland, data centers are eating up more than a fifth of the entire country's electricity. It got so bad they had to force a moratorium on new construction in Dublin until 2028. Tech companies are actively backpedaling on their net zero climate pledges. They're delaying coal plant retirements. Honestly, they're even securing energy from reopened nuclear plants like 3 Mile Island, just to feed this machine. Now, you might be thinking, well, I just use it to write some emails or generate a funny picture, but let's break down that everyday behavioral cost. Running a standard spam filter requires almost zero energy, but a single AI text query, that is 200 times more energy intensive. And generating an AI image, that one prompt pulls the equivalent physical energy from your local grid as running a 10-watt LED light bulb for 17 full minutes.
Naturally, tech giants argue against this by saying that newer hardware is going to become way more efficient and that will save the grid. But actually, that ignores a fundamental economic law known as the Jevons paradox. See, making AI hardware more efficient doesn't actually reduce our overall energy use. It just makes AI cheaper and way more attractive. This encourages us to deploy it absolutely everywhere, rapidly scaling up consumption and completely erasing any energy savings we might have gained.
Chapter 2. AI's Secret Water Footprint. All right, let's demystify this for a second. How exactly does a digital program drink water? Well, first off, AI servers process billions of queries. Secondly, all of this hyper-powered hardware generates intense, incredibly dangerous heat. To prevent the servers from literally melting down, they require super aggressive cooling. And finally, that's where evaporative cooling towers step in, consuming vast amounts of fresh, drinkable water to chill the entire system down.
And here is the absolute crucial detail you need to know. This process doesn't just recycle the water, it consumes it completely. In order to dissipate that server heat out into the atmosphere, the cooling towers evaporate the water entirely. The system literally requires constant, continuous freshwater replenishment just to stay online.
Let's pause on a really relatable, everyday metric for a second. 500 milliliters. Basically, your standard plastic bottle of water.
According to researchers, every 10 to 50 medium-length generative AI prompts you type essentially drinks that 500-milliliter bottle of fresh water. This is the completely invisible cost of casually prompting AI to, write a joke or draft a quick email for you. The intelligence you're seeing on your screen is actively draining physical water from a localized ecosystem somewhere in the world.
Now multiply those single water bottles by billions of users, and the projections become terrifying. By 2027, global AI water withdrawal could reach 6.6 billion cubic meters. To put that into perspective, that is more than half the total annual water used by the entire United Kingdom. And what's worse, these facilities are often built in highly vulnerable areas. Google's data center in Mesa, Arizona, for example, draws millions of cubic meters of water. We're talking thousands of Olympic swimming pools worth, directly out of the desert. Meanwhile, planned centers in drought-stricken Uruguay have sparked massive public outrage over local water security.
Chapter 3. The New Digital Colonialism.
So we're pivoting here from environmental metrics to deep human exploitation. Scholars call this data colonialism. Basically, big tech operates on this ideology that treats our data and our local resources as terra nullius, which is Latin for nobody's land. Just like historical empires viewed the global south as completely free for the taking, tech giants view our digitized lives and our planetary resources as raw material, ready to be strip-mined for their corporate profit.
Look at this historical parallel. Back in the 16th century, the Spanish Empire would read the Requerimiento, this document demanding native submission to a strange foreign order, virtually guaranteeing their dispossession. Today? Well, today we have big tech's terms of service. It's an incomprehensible document demanding our total submission to data extraction. The mechanism might have shifted from physical force to digital platforms, sure, but the dispossession? It is exactly the same.
As the incredible researcher Kate Crawford points out, the cloud is the backbone of the artificial intelligence industry, and it's made of rocks and lithium brine and crude oil. See, digital colonialism isn't just about software. It is old-school physical extractivism. We are mining the global south for the gray gold of lithium and the blood coltan required to physically build the AI stack in the first place. And what exactly happens to all of that hardware when it inevitably becomes obsolete in just a few short years? Well, that brings us to our final staggering number, 2.5 million metric tons.
By 2030, the physical life cycle of this AI infrastructure is projected to generate 2.5 million metric tons of toxic electronic waste every single year. That is the physical equivalent of discarding 250 Eiffel Towers annually. And this toxic e-waste, it doesn't just magically disappear back into the cloud. No, it is physically dumped, often poisoning the land and water in vulnerable communities across the global south, the exact same communities who reap almost none of the technological benefits of this system.
Conclusion. Who pays the price? So we have uncovered a massive paradox in this explainer. AI offers us extreme power and convenience, absolutely, but it completely shifts its planetary burden onto the people who benefit the absolute least. Because again, as Kate Crawford points out, the data economy is premised on maintaining environmental ignorance. Tech companies deliberately obscure their true energy, water, and human costs just to keep us captivated by the illusion of clean magic.
Which leaves us with one incredibly chilling question. When the disembodied intelligence on your screen drains the water from your tap, pulls the power from your grid, and dumps its toxic waste across the globe, who really pays the price of progress? I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. Do the benefits of generative AI actually justify its planetary cost? Let us know down in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to BioCrit Ethics for more explainers diving deep into tech ethics, environmental justice, and the heavy realities hiding right behind our screens. Thanks so much for learning with me today.